pop up live, and then I'll be able to. Okay, my forehead's itching. But we're live. I just said something. It was people probably gonna laugh at me for it. Hold on 1 second. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. We're live. Welcome to Positive Vibes. I have with me my special guest, Linell Burns, who is going to talk about something very, very important. We're going to talk about a lot of things that are going on in this world today and how you too can make a difference, not only with your families, with your businesses, and with your friends. You know what? You can just do like an amazing things. Linell, tell them about what you do and tell them how right now in this pandemic, how what you do and what has helped you in not a pandemic, but in a time where you were in a trial in your life. So let's talk about something that's very, very key to what's going on right now. Unemployment is today's date is the last date that people are going to be receiving their unemployment checks. Businesses are going out of business. They are filing bankruptcy, and people are losing their houses, their cars, and a lot is going on. Let's talk about Legal Shield and what are some of the important things that Legal Shield can do for families in this time at not just a reasonable rate, at a rate that is affordable.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on, Trelu. And my name is Linell Burns. I'm an independent associate with Legal Shield Shield. And to answer your question, what can we do in this time? We can do so many things. Unemployment, yes, it is, and a lot of people have questions. You know, they have mortgages, they have rents, they have car payments. There are so many things that still have to be paid, but yet there are no jobs available. So what do? Now you're in a legal situation, and when it comes to legal matters, we're reactive as opposed to being proactive. Mm-hmm. So Legal Shield offers people an affordable way to access the justice system on an unlimited basis by having access to quality law firms across the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom.
And the key word was unlimited.
That's unlimited, yes, because when we think of attorneys, we think about billable hours. And Legal Shield has been around for over 48 years. It's not something that's just starting or we're hoping that it works. We've already brought 4 million lives peace of mind, over 4 million lives actually, peace of mind by just having this membership, you know, and we don't want to be in a situation where we need it and we don't have it. It's better to have it and not need it.
Right. And to know that you're covered, you know what I mean? And this time, you know, where people are in a pandemic, they're in a pandemic, you know, and also they don't know which way to go. And to know that you can just access these services via phone, you don't even have to go anywhere. You could be on the internet, you know, and contact people that are in your in the Legal Shield realm of what you're doing and what you receive from Legal Shield. You can do that from your home. And the other people that are a part of Legal Shield can do the business for you, and you can receive the replies back via email and via, internet. You know what I mean? So you don't have to drive to the lawyer's office to see them in person. You can do all this over the internet, and you know who they are because you choose them through Legal Shield. Is that correct?
Well, one of the things is every state has a law firm. Every province has a law firm. So basically, like say you're in Atlanta, you would have a law firm that is specifically based in Atlanta. That is the one that all of the citizens or people there would go to, the local, right? But we also have that nationwide network, which means wherever you go, your membership is going to follow you. And it's great that you talked about the internet because the internet is so key right now. You know, people are Googling things all the time and they're making decisions based on Google. But with the Legal Shield membership, what you have access to are attorneys. As soon as you become a member, you are a client of the law firm. And we're bringing 4 million lives to the table, remember. So that means that you're one of the biggest clients the law firm actually has is a Legal Shield member, because it's not really my dollar and your dollar that's being pulled. It's all of our money's being pulled together so that we can have access to the best quality law. The great thing about this also is mention not having to drive anywhere. And imagine the same way you're able to access Facebook on an app on your phone, or you're able to access, Spotify and Pandora. We have the same thing for attorneys. So
Wow.
we make it so easy to be able to access your attorney. There's no stressing, there's no guessing, there's no looking up in the phone book, going to the internet, wanting to have someone help us and not know where to go. It's all on your app, and based on your state, your law firm is already programmed based on your state. So all you do is you tap that app, it automatically pulls up your law firm's number, and you are on the phone with someone right away. And I've had this service myself for the last 13 years. And Trelu, when I tell you, it gives me peace of mind like nothing else has given me peace of mind. I have 3 children. One of them is a newly licensed driver.
Wow.
So,
have you rode with them yet? Have you rode with them yet?
Let's not talk about that. That's a little bit of trauma right there.
Like, they gotta have Linell show.
Yes. Yes. So when he's not with me, I know if anything, God forbid, happens, he has access to his attorney. And that's why this is so important. We need to make sure we have access beforehand, not when something happens. So yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. Well, God bless you. Mine is 13. He won't be driving for a little while yet. But you know what? I will say this, that I learned how to drive when I was at a very young age. And actually my older sister was the one that allowed me to ride with her. She was teaching me how to drive, and she was scared to pieces. So I know exactly what you mean. And I couldn't get, I didn't get it. I was like, I was so nervous just to even be behind the wheel. So I'm sitting there trying to calm my nerves and drive and focus at the same time. And she was, and as soon as I put my foot on the gas, she was like, "Oh, stop, stop, stop!" I'm like, I told her, I said, let me out the car. I cannot do this. Let me out of the car. You're making me nervous. I cannot think. Let me out of the car." We both kind of like cracked up. And then when it was my turn to do it with I think it was like my little cousin or something. And I was like, if we were going around in a little circle or something, I'm like, just drive. But I'll be honest with you, I was like, please. And she was in my car, so I'm like, please just drive the speed limit. She's like, can I go out there on the street? I'm like, no, we're just going around this little circle, and then we're going around home and then park it. Let's go home. So I understand truly what you mean.
It's a whole new meaning to explain.
So let's talk about, let's talk about, being a parent and how Legal Shield can help. Legal Shield is good for a 2-parent home. Let's talk about the benefits of Legal Shield when it's a 1-parent home.
That's a really good question, because I'm a single mom with 3 kids. And my son, he's 16 now, but when he was 11, he was in school playing basketball, and the ball accidentally, he went to shoot the shot and he missed, and it hit a girl in the face. And it was an accident, and so he apologized. The class saw him apologize, and that wasn't good enough for her. She actually came and slapped him and told him next time, make sure he's more careful. And so the thing, slapped him. My son was slapped in school. And the thing of it is, the school never called me to tell me about it. But when he was speaking back to the teachers and he was being, quote unquote, rude to another student, they were on the phone all the time. So he comes home, he tells me the incident. I contacted the school in order to find out exactly why no one had notified me. And she goes, "Miss Burns, I'm glad that you called me, because the other parent actually wants to press assault charges against your son for hitting her in the face with that basketball." And so I couldn't believe what was happening, Trelu. It was an accident. He was 11 years old playing ball. Now it turns into an assault, an assault scenario. And on top of that, the school never even notified me that this had happened. So guess what? Because of Legal Shield, I was able to call my attorney, and I let my attorney know exactly what was going on. And my attorneys gave me the best advice for that situation. Not only did they say to me, "Well, Miss Burns, this is what you do," they laid it out step by step, line by line for me. And then they also contacted the school to find out exactly what was going on. Because it's a different situation. When you don't have legal access, people like to scare you into thinking that you're wrong. And that's not what happens when you're a Legal Shield member. Now you have access to your power. So I picked up the phone. I called my attorneys. I contacted the principal. I let them know how I was going to go forward because of the fact that, number one, my son was. I wasn't notified that he had been hit, and number two, if you want to go ahead and sue or press charges against my son, go ahead and bring it on because I have an attorney. And
You
after
go,
the other,
girl.
yes, after the other parents heard that I had an attorney, all of a sudden the assault charges turned out to be two kids playing. And so that's the power of having a membership like this. It's not being pushed around because you don't know what your rights are in the situation.
Right. You know what? That's interesting that you said that. Now, when we were talking about having an app, where you can access the lawyers and all the other resources that you need. It kind of reminded me back in the day when we didn't really have cell phones and things like that. We had the what was it, telephone books, and it was like let your fingers do the walking. Now because we have apps, it's let your fingers do the punching. Punching on the buttons on your phone, or fingers or thumbs, whatever people choose to use. With getting all this, you have to utilize your resources, and right now apps are the resource. Now if you're wherever you are and you get into a situation and you can just hit that, you can just go to that app and you can utilize I don't know exactly all the things you can, but we'll talk about that. You can utilize your attorney, I guess, according to the type of situation it is. If it's a car accident, he could be accident, he could be an attorney that deals with accidents, or if it's something criminal, it could be an attorney that deals with criminal. You don't just call this bogus attorney, a general attorney. You get directly to the attorney that you need for the situation that you have at hand.
And that's so important that you're saying that, Trey Lou, because in Legal Shield, we call it tap that app, because that's exactly
what app. I like that.
We tap that app, right? Every time we're looking to contact our attorneys. And me personally, like I said, I've had this service for over 13 years. I've used it 47 times in that 13-year time frame.
Wow.
When you think about it, we have legal issues on a daily basis. I had an issue with the landlord. I was 6 months into an apartment. The oven went out. It was 3 days before Thanksgiving. And I notified him about it. But of course, he didn't want to do anything. And we went back and forth for a couple of hours. And finally, I got tired. I called my attorney. And my attorney said to me, well, let me go ahead and see your lease. So I sent the lease to her, and she called me back within 45 minutes. And she said, Ms. Burns, it's not really what's in your lease that's concerning me. It's what's not in your lease, because he never put in that lease that he furnished appliances. So if he does not want to give you a brand new stove, he does not have to legally, because there's not a contract. However, I will go ahead and contact him and write him a motivational letter as well. And she got on the phone. She contacted the landlord. I don't know what she said to him, but I do know that within 24 hours, I had a new stove in my kitchen.
Yeah,
and I know Thanksgiving dinner that year, and there was no problem with that. Another thing,
and I wasn't invited. No, I didn't know.
Girl, that's all right. You'll be invited.
I know. I know. I was just, now you got me thinking about turkey, but that's great. And you know what? And the thing about these things, and think about me having you as a special guest in here on my show talking about Legal Shield, is you are walking in the footsteps of being a Legal Shield participant, and as well as member and an associate. So you could tell the story from being not just behind the scenes, but in the scenes. You're actually the words on the paper when it comes to being a Legal Shield representative. It happened to you. It's not like, you can't say, well, hey, I drove a Lamborghini, and I know how a Lamborghini feels because I drove a Lamborghini. Yeah, you drove it, but you didn't really have it for a while. You know what I mean? You could say that you have an attorney, but you can have an attorney, but how do you go about accessing that attorney? Sometimes it takes a lot to get to the attorney. The attorney is busy, and there's a lot of things that may happen. But with Legal Shield, not only are there attorneys, there's a whole wealth of other services that Legal Shield has too.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the things I really want to talk about is a will. That's one of the services that Legal Shield provides that was so important to me as a mom, because I know that death doesn't have an age attached to it. A friend of mine has a friend that was killed in a motorcycle accident about 6 weeks ago. And he was 26 years old, 3 jobs, working for himself, doing everything that he needed to do in
Mm-hmm.
order to make his life good. However, he was raised by his uncle. His father had abandoned him as a child, but when he passed away, his father came to collect all of his belongings, while the uncle who raised him is now sitting there like, what's happening? But because there's no will in place, no one knows what the next step is.
Right.
And so it's very important to make sure that we're protecting our families, because it's not really about us, it's about the people that we're leaving behind. And it's the legacy that we're leaving for them. So instead of these two brothers being able to grieve properly over the death of this man, now they're fighting over belongings that are not going to bring them back, right? So
Right.
as an associate, what's important to me is to let people understand the value of what they have. This is not just about, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna call my attorney just to see if this works. This
Mm-hmm.
is coming from a place where, and like you said, like a Lamborghini, I can go test drive a Lamborghini, but until I own it, I won't know the benefit of it, right? There's a difference
Absolutely.
between a test drive and an actual ownership. And I'm just grateful that I own the membership so that I can speak from a place of authenticity.
Sounds great. I hope you guys are thinking about Legal Shield, and then in this day and age where unemployment is stopped, the last day's unemployment is today. People are filing for bankruptcy. There's people are losing their homes to foreclosure, their cars for repossession, and now we're in this COVID thing, pandemic, and they're asking people for their children to go back to school. Do you know your rights when it comes to you being the guardian of your children? Do you know what you need to do in order to have that total assurance that you can make that decision whether you want your kids to go to school or whether you want to homeschool them? Because then we get into where we're talking about the law. I mean the school versus your decision that you're making as a guardian, and are you the rightful legal guardian? Because some people are not even that. They have these children in their care, and because they had them for 3 or 2 months, but they don't have the proper documentation saying that I am the legal guardian. They just may be taking care of Shayna's kids because Shayna has went somewhere. You know what I mean? But it's not really legal guardianship. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
we're gonna be talking about that soon. So I want you to explain that for them for me, if you will.
Absolutely. And that's so key that you're talking about that, because we I remember when I was younger, my family, we took care of the kids, and you had the aunts and uncles that were your guardian, and if something happened to your family, you could go over to their house and just stay there for a couple of weeks until everything blew over. But now we're living in a different time. We're definitely living in a time where you have to document these things, because if you don't, then what happens to the children? What happens to that child that you love so much? But if you can't prove that legally you can take care of them, or legally you have the right to make those decisions, it doesn't matter. And so with the Legal Shield membership, we're going to go ahead and make sure that any children that you're the legal guardian of up to the age of 18, they are to be covered by this membership. And then also, it works for if you have children that are mentally or physically disabled, regardless of their age, the membership is going to cover them as well, because these are unprecedented times. And we
Mm-hmm.
don't know what the result of this is going to be. So we have to be proactive, because when those questions start coming up, whether or not the parent does have the right to keep the child home, whether or not the parent does have the right to send the child to school, and if they did send the child to school and something happens to that child, is that parent now liable because they sent the child to school? These are all things we really need to consider
Mm-hmm.
when we're with this whole pandemic. So yes, this is something that Legal Shield could definitely answer those questions on. And once again, this is not a referral service. Everyone that signs up as a Legal Shield member, this is a membership that takes place right away. So within 24 to 48 hours, you can contact your attorneys to find out exactly what your rights are in the situation and have the best legal advice possible, as opposed to taking a legal decision or an opinion of a friend or family.
Absolutely. Well, I know you have a lot to do today. I want you to let them know how. Let the people know that are listening how they can get first, how they can get in contact with you, and what are some of the key things they should have so you're prepared for the conversation that they may have. I know you are prepared, but so that they'll be open to be able to know what exactly they're looking for in Legal Shield. What do they need to come to the table with? And also, you could let them know what regarding the monies and things like that if you want to. If you like, because people say, well, I want Legal Shield. They may have an issue that they want to resolve, but it may not be something that Legal Shield offers. But so, what do they need to come to the table with and be clear, and what they need to be, and then they also need to be clear to you or to the person they're trying to find out what they need with Legal Shield about the situation. So so you'll be able to know if Legal Shield can help them.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that question, Trelu. Just to let you know, I'm an independent associate with Legal Shield, so I am not an attorney. What I am is the person who can help you get started on membership that'll give instant access to your attorney. So what the person would need to do in order to get started as a member is to make sure they have a valid checking or savings account, of course. But they also want to make sure that they have they're able to download the app, and I can actually share that app, that link to the app for you. They're going to be able to get questions, documents, and all of that reviewed without having to worry about that hourly rate. And that's what we really want to make people aware of. This $200 to $300 an hour attorney does not exist when it comes to a Legal Shield member in regards to the services that are covered under the regular portion of the membership. So I can definitely go into detail for them. They can contact me. My name is Linell Burns. The best phone number to reach me on 860-477-7410. I can also be reached on my website. It's linellburns.com. That's LINELLBURNS.com. And Trelu, I can also forward that information to you as well.
Absolutely.
I just really appreciate you giving me the time today, because this is very important for our people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Well, Linell, have a great day. I'll definitely will be in touch with you in about 5 to 10 minutes after this broadcast. Let me get some things done back on behind the scenes editing thing. Thank you so much for all your support with Positive Vibes, and may this day be a positive day for you. We woke up this morning, so God has something in store for us, and may all you guys that are watching give Legal Shield a chance to see if they can, and not to see, but to know that they're there for you. So I want you guys to stay tuned, and also hit her up on her Facebook page, Linell Burns, and also just be ready to get all that good insight, because I'm going to be. Linell, I'll be in contact with you today. God bless you guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Have a great day, beautiful.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.